Hi, and welcome to Pilates Perspectives. I'm Joy Paleo, the Director of Education, and so thrilled that you're joining us today. So here on this podcast, we're going to have conversations about the Pilates landscape in which we find ourselves today. We'll talk a little bit about the history of Pilates, the way that it impacts our daily lives, and about how Pilates contributes to both general wellness and the world around us. Before we introduce our first guest, let's do something for you. Let's check in. Pilates is associated with mindfulness and awareness. So why don't we start with a little awareness practice for yourself? Now, some of you might be driving. You might be at work and sitting in a chair. You might be in your kitchen preparing dinner. So the first thing I will tell you is don't close your eyes, but instead, let's have you connect more deeply into the surface that you are connecting with. If you're standing, that would be your feet to the ground, and if you're sitting, that would be your pelvis to your chair. Can you rise up? Be as tall as you can in opposition to your grounding surface. Where is your head, your rib cage, and your pelvis? And do they align with one another inside of gravity so that you don't feel as though you're being pulled down or weighted down, but instead you rise up and you lengthen? Check in with your breath. Can you breathe deeply, filling your lungs completely? And then as you exhale, allow that exhale to, if you will, rise out of your body, touches your soft palate, almost like a wave. What are you looking at? Does it have color? And does that color remind you of something? Can you smell it? Can you see it? And does it bring back a sensation? And finally, on the surface that you're connecting to and grounded into, what do you feel? Do you feel connected? Do you feel as though your pelvis is organized in such a way that it meets your legs and your spine, and it offers both a pedestal and a support? That your shoulders are wide and that your arms hang loosely, or that they're free for movement? Take one more big breath in and exhale. Okay, today we're with Danica Kalamdaralu, and our topic of all things is the dinner party conundrum. Come on, we know our clients so well inside of our studios, and then when we go to the dinner party and we get that family invite and we're standing around and we're talking to people, how do we talk about this thing that we love, this practice that we share, and this gift that we give? All right, so Danica comes to us from Pilates 804. She is the owner and a master practitioner in her space. She describes her space as a traditional studio for the everyday athlete located in Richmond, Virginia. She has her own teacher training program that acts as continuing education for Pilates movement professionals. I believe it is called SomaFix Pilates Method. And you can find her at Pilates804.com. Welcome, Danica. Okay, so we're here with Danica Kalamdaralu.
Yes.
Did I do that right?
You did it
I'm
perfectly.
so happy. You know, I think names are so important, and you always want to totally respect someone's name. And I actually think I want to go down to just Joy. What do you think?
I like it.
Right?
Share, just
Yeah.
joy.
Well, because it's like Pilates Perspectives with joy. If you put with joy at the end of everything, it's joyful.
I like it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Kalamdaralu.
Kalamdaralu. My maiden name is Robinson.
Kalamdaralu.
Yeah, he's super cute. So I rolled with it.
Well, it's a good name to roll with, Kalamdaralu.
I do have often thought I should just Danica.
Right. Danica, Joy.
It's enough.
Enough. You are enough. Okay. Well, I guess, and you know what? I could say we're here to discuss that, but you guys are going to figure that out in the course of this conversation. We're here with Danica.
And I'm very happy to be here. Thank you, Balanced Body.
All right. And I'm Joy. And we're going to have the dreaded cocktail conversation.
The dreaded cocktail conversation.
So, when you're working with clients, like, everything about their lives,
Mm-hmm.
right? And they're inviting you to all, like the bar mitzvahs and the christenings and the graduations. And you go and you're like, oh, there's Uncle Jimmy. Uncle Jimmy's going to have a couple of drinks. He's going to act out by the end of the year. Like, all this, right?
Mm-hmm.
But they don't necessarily know you. So you're at the cocktail party and they come up to you and they say, hi, how do you introduce yourself and explain what you do?
I always wait for them to ask because they're going to ask. So I always start with I'm Danica. Right? That comes out first. And when I get that dreaded question of what do you do, I no longer say I'm a Pilates teacher, I'm a Pilates studio owner, because I found that just makes people raise their eyebrows and give you that like, oh, look. And then you see their brains connect to whatever definition they think Pilates is that they have access to in their minds from what they've seen or what they've done. So I now say I'm a movement educator. And then their eyebrows, instead of going up, their eyebrows kind of come down. And then they look at me and they're like...
I once had someone say when I said I'm a movement educator, they're like, is that like a proctologist? I'm like, not that kind of movement.
No, not that kind of movement. And the fact that your brain went there, okay.
Very different than going to Pilates.
Tells you a lot about that person. But then... if I say movement educator, there's a conversation that actually goes back and forth after that because they ask me questions versus just saying, oh, you're a Pilates teacher. And they immediately have an image of a Pilates teacher in their head, an instructor, a group class, and saying, well, I'm a movement educator. They're like, oh, really? What does that mean? And then it's, well, what did you study? Right. And then there's an actual conversation that makes a cocktail party, right? Like then you can actually talk. And also, they're also more involved in what I'm saying. And eventually I'll throw the word Pilates in there. Like, yeah, and I use Pilates as my main modality. And then they're like, oh, well, wait, I thought Pilates was... And then I have an avenue to actually educate them in a conversation about what Pilates is.
And what is it to you?
To me, in a simple definition, it is a form of calisthenic training that is the root of our interaction with gravity so that we can be at our optimal prime physical and mental and emotional readiness to do whatever we want to do. It's the...
I think that's great, but I guarantee you at the cocktail party, Uncle Jimmy's not thinking that.
No, he's not. He's not, and he's not asking me that. But if I lead them and steer the conversation, by the time I get to that, they're like, oh, so you're a movement educator. Right? And it works. Because explaining what Pilates is such a strange thing. Because, right, exactly what I said. Like calisthenic training, gravity, blah, blah, blah. What is that?
What is that?
Right? When I'm really pressed for time, I say, well, Pilates started as a noun. He was a person. He was a person. And then it became a verb.
You do.
It's this thing we do.
Yeah.
And now it's also an adjective. It's something that's describing fitness and exercise in certain areas.
Let's talk about it as an adjective because I think that's really interesting. First of all, I'm amazed at how many people don't know that it was a noun, that it was a person.
Like most.
Yeah.
And what's really disheartening is how many instructors don't know necessarily that he was a noun.
Yeah, I was at a trade show recently, and it was a fitness trade show, and got up and did a little spiel, and Ken actually asked the question, Ken Endelman asked the question, how many of you know Joseph Pilates was a person? And a third of the room raised their hand.
Yeah.
I've
been in those rooms, and I'm like, mouth up off the floor.
Right, and it becomes important to just sort of circle that back. But as an adjective, let's talk about it as an adjective. Like, what are some of the ways in which Pilates is an adjective?
Well, I mean, it's really come to describe anything that is a core-based workout, whether it's on the floor in your mat work, or whether it's on a reformer or any of the other pieces of wonderful equipment that the noun came up with, right? We'll just refer to him as the noun.
The noun.
And it's become so commercialized in mainstream fitness, which was bound to happen. It was inevitable that it was going to happen because movement makes you feel good. Movement makes you feel better in all ways. And it was only a matter of time before Pilates, as this very, gate-kept verb, right? It was only in small boutique studios, and it was only private instruction, and then came the reality that, like, oh, it doesn't need to be kept small.
It
doesn't need to be that.
It can be shared.
It can be shared.
It can be accessible.
Yes.
Right.
And it can be enjoyed by everyone who's just willing to move. But the downside of that is, well then
how do you know the movement you're doing is Pilates?
Right. And, I always say, you can go buy a really nice Coach bag and pay, or you can get the knockoff and it's still a bag.
It's still a bag.
It's still a bag. It's still going to hold your stuff.
Right. It's going to hold your stuff.
Right. So you can do the most traditional classical definition of the verb of Pilates. Good for you. But guess what? Even if you do the adjective and it is just core-based aerobics on the mat, add in some weights, add in a band. Okay.
You're moving.
Right.
You're strengthening.
Yes.
You're engaging. You're engaging with your body.
And as a teacher, you're spreading that. So the more teachers can spread that joy to people, then the better. So as an adjective, I won't lie. Sometimes I'll see things and be like, but why? But why? And that's truly my own classical heart coming out, where I'm like, the method is so amazing in its purest form that it's like, why do you have to add all of these other things?
Can we go in that direction for a second?
We can go in all the directions.
Because oh gosh. So I always hated the cocktail party. I always hated the conversation the conversation turning to, so what do you do? On my best day, I was never that Pilates instructor. So to tell somebody who's never really heard of Pilates before what I did, or as it became more generic as a form of exercise, the expectation around what a Pilates instructor was supposed to be, I was like, ugh, do I really want to go into this? But it's the same thing with instructors, right? So it's in the sense that we've put ourselves in, oh, are you classical? Are you contemporary? Are you this? Are you that? And Pilates expanding so much into, well, I could stand on a reformer and I could be doing salsa dancing, and that's Pilates, right? Because there's a reformer underneath.
Because there's a reformer.
But actually, the older I get and the more involved in the science of movement and the more the health benefits of movement are being shared in the media, the more I go back to the value of what the noun created.
Right. There's his true genius, I don't think, is really how he made the reformer, made the chair, made the Cadillac. I mean, like that was cool. Like, yeah. But his true genius is in the simplicity of the movement.
Right. He took these calisthenic-based exercises.
Right.
And he informed them in as a whole body system where, you could be working. I mean, the thing I hate the most, full disclosure, is elephant. When your client is an elephant and they look at you.
That's the one you hate the most?
Then they look at you from under their armpit and they say, what muscle am I working? And you're like, oh, all
of them.
Everything.
All of them.
Yeah. So there's this movement, this actual lack of understanding of this really larger global thing that is the human form moving in space. And the value that the environment that is the Pilates environment and the movements that were originally part of that lexicon, how valuable they are to the human system.
Yeah. And how if you move through the exercises, not necessarily in the traditional or classical order, which, by the way, it's a great order, but you don't have to follow it. It's there to really help you get the exercises in, get the workout in. And yes, you can regiment it and follow the order and just get through it. And then, yay, my workout's done for the day.
Right.
But it's in moving through the different shapes and therefore interacting with gravity and the planes in space, movement science, la, la, la. Right. But once you finish it, you realize like your whole body got to work out.
Your whole body got to work out.
And you didn't spend too much time on your glutes or your hammies or your biceps because my question that I hate is, where should I be feeling this? And I'm like, everywhere but your eyebrows. Relax your eyebrows.
And what's also built into this are somatics, you know, like it's stomach massage. Stomach massage.
Not a massage.
It's not really but it's the movement has a somatic quality to it. And you could talk fascia, and we could talk joint movement, and we could talk the science. But sometimes I feel like we talk the science so much we take the movement out.
That does happen. That's a big pitfall in teacher training when I'm working with younger teachers who are starting from the ground up, and they get so like bogged down by the minutia of everything. And then I'm like, okay, but at the end of the day, it's about movement.
Yeah.
Right. So if you keep talking about the core, but you don't move it, what are you doing? And the simplicity in the shapes and the exercises that he originally came up with really don't need a whole lot of extra additives to them.
Right. To make them valuable, dynamic, athletic. You can make them as hard as you need them to be. You could also I don't want to say make it easier, but you can also vary it to get what you need out of it.
There's no limit to the creativity you can have as a teacher when creating variations and modifications off those traditional exercises. And where I see a lot of teachers get burnt out is when they haven't been given that foundation of the true verb of Pilates. So they're constantly trying to keep their classes and their clients engaged by adding in all of these extra props, the weights, the bands. And they're great. Yeah. They're great. They're fun.
They're fun. They add diversity,
and they also make it accessible for people to go home and do Pilates because a lot of people have those props at home. But I also feel like sometimes it becomes flair, like extra pieces of flair.
I sometimes think it's like it's us. I think we think they're getting bored, and I'm like, they don't. They're not getting bored.
They really don't remember. They really don't.
Yeah. You want me to do what? Well, we did this on Monday and it's only Wednesday. Yeah, but I don't remember. But they don't necessarily get bored. They're in their body. They're having their experience. Sometimes I think we're like, oh, we got
to spice it up. We've got to do more. Or they're not going to stay interested. I'm like, actually, if they just have fun, because the reality is we learn through two things, repetition and play. That is the way that
I always think Pilates is adult play.
It should be. It should still be fun and it should be interactive. I will say that one of the reasons I run my studio the way I do, which at any given time you can walk into my studio and you will hear people laughing, whether it's clients laughing with each other, teachers laughing with each other. We are laughing all of the time. I've even had clients get up off a reformer during their exercise and go over to another client to cheer them on in the middle of an exercise that they know that's like, you got this.
Yeah.
Because I once had to exist in Pilates spaces that were so traditional about
quiet
the verb.
And rigid and and reverent, right?
Yes.
Reverent is the word I always think of.
Yes, that is the perfect word.
I was never reverent.
I am
on my best day.
No, I am not. I'm not at all. And when my body is releasing things and experiencing things, I'm going to express those things. I am that person. And I want my clients to be those people. Because teaching that one stoic client whose face never gives you anything and you're like, okay, but I know you're dying inside. Right. Like, give me something.
Yeah.
I'm always like, if a client doesn't want to cuss me out or scream at me, did I do my job? Did I do my job? Right? And then somewhere in there, they're going to laugh. Somewhere in there, they're going to have a good time. And I just want the Pilates world, regardless of what kind of Pilates teacher you are, whatever type of client that is attracted to Pilates for whatever reason, that every space is a fun place to learn how to move.
Fun, safe space to learn how to move.
Yes, that safety part. That safety part. Ooh.
Pilates spaces, I didn't feel safe. I felt very judged.
Yes.
Yeah?
Yeah. Oh, I was judged a lot. I probably still am, but guess what?
I guess that's also the thing that comes with aging. We don't care quite so much.
Well, I had to not care at a very young age because not until recently was I ever in a Pilates class where there would be other Black women in it, other Black people there. And in all of my training, I was always the only one. So I had to very much always had this attitude of, okay, well, I'm going to do this differently. And my butt's bigger than your butt. And this is how I'm going to do it because it's the only way I can. And I had to take that kind of, it's not so much the I don't care attitude as I know that this works for me, so I'm going to go this pathway with it. And I mean, it really hasn't been until the last decade that
is it changing? Do you feel it's changing?
Oh, it's changing.
But I think I was with my niece this weekend and I was having a moment. I'm like, I'm getting older. I don't move the way I used to move. I don't feel the way I used to feel. And that middle-aged midsection is coming in hard, right? And I was like, And I said, how can I stand up in front of people and teach, right? Like I was having a moment. And sometimes the wisdom comes from the kids. And my niece and my daughter just looked at me, both of whom are like in their fabulous little, early 20s. And my daughter said to me, isn't that the point?
Right. Isn't that the point?
She's like, isn't that the point? Like, don't you want Pilates to be accessible to everybody? And so maybe like that's a good thing. I was like, well, okay.
I think it is changing. And I think that there are studio spaces and private situations, group class situations that really are out there for everyone. But as a consumer, my best advice is do your research. Like, you have to find the spaces still, but they are there. Whereas 20 years ago, they were not there. It is very, the landscape is changing and it is evolving. And more people are realizing that the real goal of any kind of fitness exercise regimen is not to look cute in your two-piece set. I mean, if that's your goal, cool. Trust me, it's going to change. It's going to change. Because the true goal should be I can move with my body as my body changes.
Yeah. And
when you have a teacher who actually teaches, they're going to help you through those transitions.
Right. They're going to help you move in the body you have.
Yes.
Right.
And like there are a number of things that my trashy left leg cannot do. My trashy left leg has had 3 knee surgeries and a full Achilles rupture repair. Ooh. It's my trashy leg.
It's a trashy leg.
It's so trashy. I have.
Does it trash talk?
It does. It does. Particularly, like if I try to do a pistol squat, like it's like, no. Because I don't have any cartilage. So biomechanically, the joint does not work correctly. And one day I shall have a knee replacement on the Mediterranean. Anybody want to come with me? All right. Yeah. It's going to be a great retreat.
Is that a thing? A knee replacement on the Mediterranean?
Yes, it is. Because fun fact about Turkey, it's not just for hair implants and nose jobs. They actually are the leading country in orthopedic tourism.
Oh, really?
Yes.
So you could have like a knee replacement and go on a cruise in the Mediterranean?
Literally. That is. My husband also needs one. It's our it's like.
It's going to be like your gift to each other.
It is. If we get the kids out of college and we're both getting our knees done. It's going to be so romantic.
I love that.
But there are things that my knee cannot do. The Pilates world, the everyday world. I mean, sometimes I look at steps and I'm like, or the elevator, Like I am now at the age where I say to myself, I feel a storm coming.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I feel it in my bones.
I feel it in my bones.
I feel it in my bones.
Right? And there's always something in the Pilates repertoire that I can do that's still going to get at my quads and get at my hamstrings and my calf and everything that supports my knee that's basically holding my knee together. It's just that and my ACL. It's all I got left. Right? So when I'm looking at all of the major fitness trends that are going on out there, and you see how they are very much advertised by a younger generation who are just charging at it, like, I can go and I can do this. And I'm like, yes, but one day, those pulse squats may not feel as good as they do. Because there was once upon a time that I could squat no problem. And nope.
Well, so, you once actually described your first session as putting your body back together.
Yes.
Right? And that's sort of related to what you're talking about. So what was that first session like? And now these years later, as you're thinking on your body today, like, what does Pilates give you to help you in your body today?
Well, my first reformer session ever was I went to Goucher College for my undergraduate dance degree, and they have a very well-known classical Pilates studio inside of the dance department.
Mm-hmm.
So it was part of my curriculum. And I had already had knee surgery once, because I had my first knee surgery at 16. And I go to college, and I did the PT, which didn't really get me to not even 90%. I don't believe in 100%.
Really? This is in college? This is early on?
Well, really, it was high school where I had my knee surgery. And so high school, I'm doing physical therapy, and then I get to college.
Was it a dance injury?
Well, yes.
Was it a dance injury at a party?
Well, yeah.
Okay,
it's not like I was doing Swan Lake or anything. Yeah. But yes. And physical therapy didn't look at my body holistically. Yeah. They looked at me as a 16-year-old who was going to, come back real quickly because, you're young, so you'll just bounce back. And I'm like, okay. And the normal training for the quadriceps just didn't get what I needed in my dancing body. Like, it didn't put me back together the way I needed to do what I wanted to do with my body.
Right.
Like, if all I had wanted to do was, get on an elliptical and, like, run, which I don't do unless my life is in danger. Like, if I'm running, you should just start running. Don't ask.
So if we see Danica running, don't ask questions. Just go.
Just go. Just run. Run with me. I'll explain at the end where we're safe. But it just didn't work. And as soon as I went back to dancing, my knee swelled. I had to have my knee drained multiple times because it wasn't targeting the targeting area.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. And I suffer through it. I get out of high school. I get to college, and I get on that reformer for the first time. And my instructor looks down at me, and I'm doing footwork and, Pilates knee on the balls of the feet. Right, because it's a very, very traditional studio at Goucher, so we are following that order. And I got like 4 or 5 reps in, and she stopped and she looked at me and she said, "Lateral meniscus, left leg, right?" And I said, "Correct." And she said, "Okay, but has anybody ever told you that your entire pelvis is, here's a fancy Southern term, whoppy-cocked? That your entire...
It's like cattywampus.
Yeah, cattywampus.
There we go.
You've been to the South. Yes, you have. Right? She looked at me and she said, "Your entire pelvis is misaligned, and the weight going down your left leg is just not the pathway the chain is supposed to go." She gave me one manual adjustment, and then all of a sudden, I felt everything up my left leg that I was supposed to be feeling in physical therapy that I couldn't feel. I could feel the eccentric and concentric action of my quad and my hamstrings, science talk, right? I could feel all of it all of a sudden working together instead of this approach of, let's go at one muscle group at a time, strength test it to make sure that it's balanced to the other side, which, by the way, it never got balanced to the other side because they weren't putting me in a place that my body needed to be in because they weren't looking at my wobbly-cocked pelvis.
Right. And then that you're trying to dance on and dynamically move through space
Right.
with. Yeah.
And then as I was going through these classes at Goucher, every cue, she'd give a cue, and then she'd look at all of us and say, for your back, this, for your knee, this, for your shoulder, this. And she was able to keep us all moving together and cohesively as a group class.
Yeah.
But then she would be able to target us and our individual needs all in the same exercise. And I thought to myself, this is what I'm going to need, because this leg's only going to get worse if I keep dancing, because that's all the doctors agreed on. All the doctors and the physical therapists were like, okay, go ahead and dance. It is going to get worse. It is going to get worse. And after my last knee surgery, he looked at me and he said, that's the worst knee I've seen on someone in their 30s. And I've seen a lot of knees.
Wow.
I'd argue that it's as bad as a hockey goalie's.
Ooh.
Maybe worse. And I was like, thank you very much. Do I get a prize? Do I get a prize?
Wow.
No, I got a ruptured Achilles. That's what I got. Because, again, it doesn't biomechanically work right. And Pilates has been the only thing that I've been able to do consistently to keep everything strong, to bounce back from the post-rehab. Because I'm not saying don't do physical therapy. Do physical therapy, people. Like, do it. Do your physical therapy. Do your physio. Get back to as higher percentage that you can. But then find yourself a good Pilates teacher who's going to help you understand where your body is at that point. And then keep going from there. Because physical therapy is not the end. It is not the end. And if you have something degenerative or chronic, then you need something that's going to morph with you as your body morphs.
Right. That's still going to allow you to move as completely or sort of in real time, real life as you possibly can.
Yes.
Oh gosh, there's so many things to what you just said that not only do I love, but I think are so important. So you actually confronted the discomfort of your knee, and you used Pilates to confront. And I like that terminology, kind of to confront the discomfort, as opposed to cure you, fix you, but instead for you to be able to understand what was happening in your body and figure out how you can still access all the things you were able to do.
Yes. And the idea of being fixed is it's just so wrong, because there's no such thing as 100. There's no such thing as perfect. Mm-hmm. And as soon as you feel fixed, don't say it out loud, because karma's going to come for you. Right? Like,
yeah, it just keeps rolling.
Yeah, you just got to keep on moving. You got to keep going.
It's a moment in time, and it passes real fast.
You could blink and miss the whole thing. But I've just been so thankful to have Pilates because of that. Right. And to know that I can accept anything that changes in my body, because it's gonna.
That's the nature of life.
And in teaching my clients to be comfortable with the unknown, I have to say to them, the reality is nothing gets stronger unless you use it. Mm-hmm. Like, for example, what is someone injures anything in their back, anything in their back, and their doctor says, rest. Don't twist, don't bend.
I mean, that has changed over the years.
It has.
But there's still a lot of minimizing of potential.
Right.
Yeah.
And I get clients all the time who are so scared to move their back, do any kind of extension, do anything.
Oh, I have a bad back.
And I'm like, okay, but you have muscles in it? Like a lot?
Yeah.
You need to
because
use them.
with pain and discomfort, we tell ourselves a story.
Exactly.
And that story usually includes all that I can't, I shouldn't, I won't.
And in westernized medicine, we're very good at giving you limitations and saying, this is what you can do, this is what you can't do. Definitely don't do the stuff that you can't do. But a lot of that can't do is stuff that you have to do every day, right? Like, you have to be able to put on your shoes, right? Like, that's why I say the real goal to fitness is to, get into your 80s and 90s and, go to the bathroom by yourself. Like, these are the things that we don't think about when we're young, right? And when I have clients who come in who are injured or they're dealing with something chronic, and to say, look, don't run away from it, right?
Right.
We have to go through it, right? We have to see it. We have to address it. It's kind of like a 12-step program. The first step is admitting you have a problem, right? Like you can't, but at the same time, like you can't admit a problem you didn't know you had. So getting them into this place where they're comfortable and they feel safe and they feel seen and they can express themselves. And then being able to figure out their learning style and how you're going to be able to communicate with them so you can best get them to just start moving, which is so hard for so many people. I see.
Because you're hitting on so many wonderful things, like going back to this idea of the cocktail party and like the expectation of what Pilates is, and then trying to come up with a definition of it. And you went to the word movement. Movement, generally speaking, is far more accepted now that movement is healthy, right? The concept is maybe worry less about an exercise and focus more on moving your body.
Yes.
But what you're talking about is you're diving into some of the secret sauce that I think has been the Pilates all along. We talked about how much value there actually is in the repertoire that was created by Joseph Pilates and the shapes. But then we also talked about the environment and how important the Pilates environment is to have laughter, to be fun, to be willing to play. And so much of that, just knowing you. I mean, I went to that summit in Texas and popped into your classroom, and I just sat in the back of the room and I was smiling. I mean, you're, for lack of a better word, the joy you bring when you walk into a room. Your smile, your laughter, your genuine curiosity and love of moving. And you couple that with what your initial teacher taught you, which is let's move through these exercises. And for your knee, you do this. And for your shoulder, you do that. For your back, think about, your offerings as a teacher. It's very complex.
It is, because teaching is complex.
Teaching is complex, yeah.
It
and
is.
Teaching this, we've distilled down to the word Pilates, like it's much bigger than the choreography.
It is, and I will preface this by saying I am not talking down to fitness instructors of any kind, but there is a difference between just leading a group fitness experience and teaching people something. In this case, movement. And my background in pedagogy, which the definition of pedagogy is the science of teaching, I did not get in my teacher training. I got that in my undergraduate and graduate degrees, which are both in dance performance choreography and body somatics, is what my graduate degree actually reads as. But in part of that, we had to take early childhood education and dance education, and we had to go in and teach children of all ages. And I will tell you this, if you can teach a child how to skip, then you can teach anybody anything. And teaching adults is hard because adults are coming to you with all kinds of formulated concrete ideas. Like this is this and this is that and this is how I do it and I've always done it. Whereas children, they are like, okay, you know best because I'm just here. I was told to show up.
Well, and sometimes, again, going back to play, children are uninhibited.
Right.
Right. We're like, well, if I do that, I'm going to look kind of funny. Do I want to? You want me to put my butt where? Up in the air?
Yeah.
My head down there?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. So many things that can come into the adult mind that can hinder it.
My body doesn't do that.
My body doesn't do that. Or even as simple as...
Oh, I don't have coordination.
That's not ladylike enough.
Yeah.
I, teaching in the South, have had to take women into my back office and say, look, squat. No one's here. It's me and you.
Yeah.
Just squat. And they still are like, what? And I'm like, wow. Trust me.
It's okay.
You won't look back. Yeah. You'll love it. It'll change your life. But these are things and constructs in their mind that they have about themselves and their bodies in space. And when you're teaching, you have to get into these layers and you have to let them see the discomfort and face the discomfort. And you've got to think about, okay, the best cue for this physical learner, this visual learner.
Right.
And all the while, your teaching brain is assessing that.
That's right.
And how they respond to you. That's why I say, like, the hardest client to teach is the one that gives you nothing. And you're like, well, okay, 4 more. Keep going.
Keep going.
Like,
keep going. I always say, you don't give me anything, I'm just going to keep upping the ante until you say
exactly.
Until you say uncle.
Until you say uncle. And if you didn't like it, you wouldn't keep coming back. So okay, we're doing it.
Oh, yeah.
But in teaching adults, when I feel one of the biggest things that is hard to get past get them through the discomfort, after you figure out, the best cues for this learner, is getting them past that negativity that they'll have on themselves. Like,
it's their own self-talk.
Right.
Yeah.
And in the middle of doing a beautiful teaser, and you might be shaking and sweating and rattling all on the inside. And I'm like, you're doing it. Great job. Keep going. And they go, oh, I can't do it. I'm like, you can't do the thing you're doing?
Right. Because you're doing it right now.
You're doing it right now. If you keep on not doing it, then. And I never hear children say that when I teach children. And I still do teach children.
This episode is powered by Balanced Body. Balanced Body is dedicated to delivering world-class Pilates teacher training to instructors at every stage of their careers. Our nationally recognized instructor training programs combine traditional Pilates principles with the latest in movement science, ensuring you receive the most comprehensive education available. Whether you're new to teaching or looking to expand your knowledge, we offer courses that inspire growth, foster community, and elevate your practice. Ready to take your Pilates career to the next level? Discover more about our training programs at Pilates.com/Pilates certification.
I still teach dance to teenagers at my daughter's dance studio.
Ooh, you are brave.
Yeah, I do not recommend teaching your own children. Like, it's hard. It's hard. But for them, I lay them out a challenge, and they think about it, they process it, and they try, and they try. And they might feel frustrated, and I'm like, keep going, keep going. They're more accepting that there is a process and that there is a learning curve.
Right.
Whereas with adults, I get so much of this wall of, well, I can't do it right. I didn't do it right. I'm like, well, you didn't. It was good. I mean, I'm not going to throw it into a photo shoot right now, but that's okay. That's not why you're here. And it's only going to get better if you practice. I always have to remind adults, I'm like, do you remember?
Practice. There's the understanding that, and I actually think we all should be, as teachers, talking about the practice.
The practice.
Like, this is a practice.
Right. It's not a performance.
You don't just show up and go, ta-da, and walk away.
And you can have goals. You can have end goals.
Yep.
But guess what? Those goals are going to shift. And even if you do meet them as you laid them out, then there's going to be another.
Right. And you're going to meet them with practice.
And then your body's going to change, and you're going to have another one.
And another one.
Because that is the practice. But I always remind adults, I'm like, you just don't remember learning how to read. I promise you, you weren't good at it at the beginning. You did it slowly. You mispronounced things. And look at you now.
Right.
Reading and talking. Doing a great job. So you can do it. And you can speak in different accents. You can learn other languages. And that's why it made me think of Pilates as a language, as a movement language. That's really where I got it.
Oh, that's so, I was with a bunch of people who are bilingual, and I said, I'm monolingual. I wish I had another language. I do.
That you do.
I do.
And it is, I think that if you learn the basics of the Pilates, you learn your nouns and your verbs and your adjectives. Right. I do really mean grammar this time.
I know.
Right?
I'm so enjoying this English lesson.
And when you go to learn another language, that's the words you start with. You start with your nouns, your verbs, and your adjectives, and you make simple sentences, right?
Pilates, Pilates, Pilates.
Right. And we start with simple little footwork, simple little contractions.
Yep.
And then the next thing you know, you're in headstands, years later.
Because you're building the skills.
And you're building the skills.
You're building the skills.
And then you can rearrange the nouns and verbs and adjectives. You can speak the language any way you want to. And that's what I love when I go to Pilates on tour and I go to conferences and see all of these different teachers with different styles, different approaches. But never have I walked into any of the conference rooms at any of the Pilates on tours and gone, I don't know what that is. Like,
Right.
it may not be the way I would teach that elephant or that stomach massage or my personal favorite, short spine. Oh, God, it's so good. So good, that short spine, right?
It's yummy.
It's so good.
Yeah.
Like, I want one before I leave today. It's not necessarily how I would have taught it. It's not how I would have thought about it. But I'm not looking at it and going, I have no idea what that is.
Well, and
You know?
when you travel and you meet people who do speak other languages, and yet this sort of language of movement, the language of Pilates, right? There is a universality to it.
Yes.
And the desire or intention around teaching
Yes,
is universal.
it is.
Yeah.
It is. And even if you are just a fitness instructor out there having fun, you are giving so much to people.
Right.
You are giving energy, and it is exhausting.
Yeah, you're not a just anything, right?
Yeah,
Like,
you're not just anything.
you're in front of that group and you're giving them an experience.
Yes. Yes. And people want that. People crave that.
Yeah.
And I think that's really important for instructors, teachers, whatever word you want to put on top of it. You're there to make people feel better. And they might want the group experience. They might want that one-on-one experience. It's all valid. And you're there providing this service because at the end of the day, we can call ourselves teachers. We can call ourselves fitness instructors. We're still providing a service. We're service providers. And I think we all found that in COVID when a lot of us couldn't go to work because we were non-essential. Yeah. Everybody's like, oh, the scars. I saw the trauma. Trauma.
We're not essential, but yet we got on Zoom and our clients
and they were like,
found
thank you.
it essential.
They needed us.
Yeah.
They needed us. We kept a lot of people sane with and like, so you don't have any weights? Do you have any soup cans? Go get some soup cans.
I know. Soup cans, little bottles of water.
And like as much as I don't use a lot of props in my studio because honestly, I hate cleaning up.
Yeah.
Like that's truthfully the main reason.
I was a train wreck. I'd be like, let's go over here. Let's go over there. And then I would realize, I left all these things around. And I'd be like, who left these things around? And my staff would be like,
you. Right. But during COVID, that was the time we were like, okay, I'm looking around there. Okay. How heavy is that lamp back there? Go grab that. Go grab that.
Just unplug it first.
Yeah. So many creative things. But we provide this service that makes people happy because they feel good. And if you feel good, you do good.
That's right. There it is. Right? There it is.
And that's, I think, how we uplift communities, how we uplift ourselves is by making sure the people feel good. And I'm so thankful for Pilates for that because if I didn't have it, I don't know what my little trash leg would be doing right now. Little trash leg. Yeah.
If you're a new person now, today, looking for Pilates, what would you say to them? How would you direct them?
Well, I would first say to them, well, do you want more of a group experience?
Mm-hmm.
Because the energy, again, in a group class is just very different than if you're going to have a private. The energy is different. Your instructor, your teacher has to bring that energy differently. Yeah. It's just different.
Right. So what's the experience you want to have?
What's the experience you want to have? And then I'd ask them, what are your personal goals with wanting to do any kind of exercise? Right. And like, how do those goals align with what you do? Are you a cyclist? Are you an everyday athlete? That is what I call moms. Moms
are everyday athletes.
Moms are everyday athletes.
Oh my God. It's like a marathon every day.
Yeah, because I really do not like it when women, and I ask women what they do, and they're like, "Oh, I'm just a mom." I'm like, "You're
not just in anything.
You're what?
You're not just in anything."
I'm like, you actually therefore are like 12 things.
The word "just" always kind of sticks with me. I'm like, it's never just anything.
Right. So I want to know like how they use their bodies, what their goals are, and then to say, okay, well, look, it sounds like you're looking for a group reformer class. It sounds
Uh-huh.
like maybe you've got some more specific issues. Maybe a private's better for you, so someone can really work one on
Right.
one with you.
Right.
So that you really get to a level where you feel safe and confident going to a group class, because that is an issue in our industry where the consumers are not doing the groundwork enough to like understand that it is a moving carriage and that you can't just jump on it and jump off of it.
Well, yeah, well, you can.
You can't. It's
Well, yeah.
highly unrecommended.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And if they do that groundwork, they'll feel better in the group setting. But a lot of them just want to jump into the group setting. Go for it. That's great.
Right.
And then I say to people, once you've figured out, what you're really looking for out of this and what you want to do, then find a studio and read the instructor bios. Bios are a big deal for me. And I've noticed a lot of studios not even putting them out now, or they're very superficial, like, so-and-so loves walking on the beach with their dog. I'm like, that's great, but what did you do? Like, what did you do?
Yeah.
Because as a consumer, you are trusting that they're going to take care of you, right?
Yeah, no, you're coming up to a big point here as well. Yeah, go for it. Keep going.
It's a big red flag to me in the marketing of any exercise space, particularly, let's be real, Pilates is not cheap, right? At the price point that we ask.
Well, but that's what classes does. I mean, when we talk about creating accessible and spaces, that's what classes do. They bring that.
They bring the price point down. Yeah. But even then, it's still, for a lot of people, it's still a big chunk of that monthly membership.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it'll get you.
Yeah.
Right. And I strongly believe that the consumers deserve to be able to vet our credentials, and that we are completely upfront about that.
Yeah.
And that.
But what are they vetting, and how do they know?
So I am a researcher. So as soon as I see in somebody's bio balanced body or anything, I'm gonna be like, okay, so wait, where did you do that master training? Where did you go? There are certain words that you can hear and read in someone's bio that kind of let you know, like, okay, they've done training or they haven't done any training.
Right.
And they need to have done training. Like you can't just wake up one day and say, and now I'm going to lead a class of 12 people on the reformer.
Right.
That is a bad idea, guys.
So the consumer should know to look for a qualified instructor.
Yes.
Right? And those qualifications would include various levels of certification.
Various levels of certification. That is, if someone says, I'm a balanced body trained instructor, then the consumer can Google balanced body.
Right.
And see that there is an actual training curriculum.
Right.
And that it is organized, and that's what you can do. Same if it was Polestar or any of the other, or Somafix, that's me, right? Like you can find some kind of information to back up what the teacher is saying or claiming.
And so the teacher has a qualification. The qualification has a curriculum and a standard.
Right.
Right? That's really important. What else should the consumer look for?
I think they should also look for client reviews. You can't not have client reviews. I mean, people don't buy anything on Amazon now without checking how many reviews and stars there are on there, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if
you don't make a reservation?
Yeah, you don't do anything right now without having some kind of basis to look at the reviews and see what's going on. So like you have to get that out there. And it can be, your client statements. Even, I mean, honestly, if you don't have a single Google review and you're a studio, that's a real red flag to a consumer, because Google reviews for businesses is just kind of a standard at this point in the world of the internet.
Right.
Right. But you've got to have that kind of reference point for people. So if it's a newer studio that doesn't necessarily have that, you're going to have to put that work in as the studio owner. And that's when the consumer will also notice, is the studio managed well? right?
Mm.
Not having those reviews is going to say to the consumer, well, are you so new you don't have any? Which might be the case, in which case get your manager on it, get it going, get some kind of referral for reviews going. They help, they're necessary. But if they don't have a way to compare and contrast as a consumer, then it's going to be you're making it harder for them to book. You're making it harder for them to come in, because that is one thing that Pilates as the adjective has done. It has made the pool of Pilates teachers, instructors, studios, everywhere so large that consumers, unlike 20 years ago, you didn't really have a way to compare and contrast studio to studio, teacher to teacher.
No.
And now, just with
And it was word of mouth. Someone said, "Oh, this person was fantastic. You should go to blah blah blah. They were trained in blah." Like it was different now.
Yeah, now it like you can Google search, you can make yourself a spreadsheet of all the studios around town near you.
Right.
And having that access to information as the consumer, we as studio owners and managers need to recognize that so that we can green flag our studios as much as possible. And we're not all going to cater to the same clientele. We're not all going after the same group of people that we want to populate our studios. For me, I'm like, do you have a spine? Do you want to move it? Come to my studio. That is like literally all I want. Like, like that's all I want. But I mean, some studios want to work with athletes.
Literally, do you have a spine?
Yeah.
Not figuratively.
Yeah, literally. You have to have one. That's literally like the only requirement. Like literally. But I mean, some studios want to work with athletes. Some studios only want to work with women. Some studios only want to work with men. Like there's all these ways now to make your studio its own, I hate this word, but niche, right? Like
to differentiate
it. And the consumers now have a way to compare and contrast. Right. So if you don't, and when people say to me, I want to do Pilates, I'm like, okay, look. You want to vet your studio. You want to vet the space. And if the studio doesn't make that possible, I'm like, red flag.
Right.
Red flag.
I think, though, it comes also back to what you originally said, which is what is the experience you want to have? What are the, because you do need to have the first, do I need a private? Do I want a group setting? Am I looking for a community? Am I looking, like, what is it that I'm looking for? Because you're absolutely right. Now there's so many choices and so many places in which someone can walk into. But I think the first thing I would look for is like the laughter.
Yeah, the laughter is huge. Yeah. The laughter is huge. It's so big. And I mean, I get reminded all of the time from friends of mine that I trained with, Pilates and dance. And they're like, do you remember how much you used to get yelled at in ballet class?
Because you laughed?
Yeah. Because you laugh or like your face makes an expression and you're just supposed to be stoic. Like,
yeah.
This does not affect me. And my friends will call me and be like, I was just thinking about the day that you got yelled at in ballet class because of blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, you still think about that? That's funny. Like I had to let it go, but I'm glad it entertains you still.
Yeah, no, but that's part of making it accessible, making your space one where people feel comfortable being in, right? Because if there's also a sense of exploration in movement. When you say movement, right? When you introduce yourself as a movement educator, there's a lovely sense of exploration that goes with that.
Yes,
but as we were saying, people are. If you're worried about how this looks or what people will think, you're never going to be willing to take that journey.
And when I say movement educators, when I say it to people and I get this utter look of blank confusion, that lets me know you didn't realize movement was a choice, did you? And there are a lot of adults who haven't really moved fully since college or, entering into adulthood where it became about bills, and more bills, right? and they get trapped in their minds, they get trapped in their work, they get trapped in the just routine of everything.
Right.
And it's like, I know you think you're moving, but you're really moving in a very restricted way just to get from A to B and back.
Right.
And, I'm like, your shoulder is supposed to shoulder. The arm's supposed to go all the way up, around town, and back. But you're just doing, this all day. And then you wonder why your shoulder doesn't want to shoulder.
Mm-hmm.
And when I get that blank look from people, I'm like, yes. They're the same people that when I was younger and they're like, what are you going to college for? And I'd say dance. They'd go, why? Why? Why would you do that? My father was one of them.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah, he was. He was a lawyer and he played golf. And that was basically his exercise,
Right.
For
Why
like
would you
later
wanna
life. And he's like,
dance?
what are you going to do with that? I
You
was
could
like,
do that in college?
yeah. And I was
Yeah.
like, and I'm going to do it in grad school
Yeah,
too. Watch. And he was just dumbfounded. And now here we are today. I'm like, I had no idea that the fitness world was going to turn into what it has turned into
Mm-hmm.
when I started college, 20
Well,
blah, blah, blah years ago.
I mean, that's one of the
But
exciting things about Pilates was that it took fitness and hey, let's do a station
yes,
for a particular muscle group to let's move this.
Let's move. Let's make
this
it
through
the whole
all
body.
ranges. Yeah.
And that connection, that is the really only real rooted connection to Pilates and dance. It's that dancers love to move.
Right.
And by timing of history and logistics of Joseph Pilates' original studio, and dancers were drawn to it. But so
Mm-hmm.
were many other injured athletes at the time because
right.
physical therapy did not exist at that point in time.
It was just starting.
It was just
starting, right? At that period of time, but physical therapy was so married to the medical establishments.
As I understand it, it was really a response to the polio epidemic.
That's right.
And
That's
it was
what I
like,
heard
how
too.
do we get these kids moving again?
Right.
And that's really where the Pilates dance intersection came up.
Mm.
And it wasn't because all these dancers were like, oh, we love Pilates. We have this great new workout. You have to try. It was like, no, they got injured. They didn't have anywhere to go.
Right.
Same with the hockey players and the basketball players. They didn't have anywhere to go.
And based on proximity and where Joe Pilates was,
right.
The dancers found a place.
They found a place.
And then word of mouth.
Mm-hmm. And they became the teachers because it made sense to them.
Right.
Like, it makes sense to a dancer to say, your whole body does this choreography.
Right.
And then the order and the regimenting of it made sense because if you've ever taken a dance class, a ballet class follows the same order. It does. And this is where I'm gonna make some classicists upset. Are you ready?
I'll go for it.
Ready?
All right.
Okay.
Lean in.
Okay. The order was really made to codify it so that you could reteach it. You cannot physiologically tell me there's a reason you should do short spine after you do 100. That doesn't read. It really doesn't. It made it easier to teach it. I have been thrown out of tables for that. I have been thrown.
Really?
Yes, I have been not invited to things before that view.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, there are corners of the Pilates world that are still very much like the noun, the end. They're there. They're getting quieter and quieter and quieter.
And they'll always be there. But I think that there are more and more voices like yours.
I hope so.
Right, where there are bridges that are, and where there's just lovely conversation and ability to experiment and play.
And yes, it's okay to make stuff up, guys.
It's okay.
It's okay. Shh, it's okay. You can make it up and you can still speak the language at the same time. Right? Like you can
that's part of evolution too.
Mm-hmm. And like I was saying, like it was inevitable. What we see in group reformer and reformer Pilates happening, that was inevitable.
So when does it stop being Pilates? Or does it ever?
That is such a murky
Murky.
area. That one makes me itch a little bit. When does it stop being Pilates? I would say it stops being Pilates when I could layer aerobics on top of it. When I could layer a HIIT class on top of it. and not see a difference. Here's what I mean, right? We see so much of this. I'm gonna use HIIT for example, because we see so much HIIT reformer Pilates happening right now.
Uh-huh.
And I'm like, why do you need a reformer to do that?
Well, I think you're onto something. Keep going.
And when we're layering all of these other modalities on top of to give it like this, again,
make it something
to make
else.
it something more, to make it
more with
more fun,
flair,
and
right?
We've got
all
this,
yeah.
And then I'm like, okay, but I think you just layered on so much that I no longer see the Pilates as the verb. I just see exercise.
Right.
And okay, you're on a reformer, but you could also do that with, I literally saw someone on the social teaching an amazing reformer class, not on a reformer. It was a folding chair, and they had a skateboard that a TheraBand was attached to the wheels and the chair. So if you're on the skateboard, you have resistance and tension from the TheraBand that's connected to the chair. And they are doing traditional Pilates exercises. And I was like,
why?
Yeah, I know you have. Picture it, right? You got a chair.
Yeah.
TheraBands attached to the legs of the chair.
Yeah.
Attached to the wheels of a skateboard.
Yeah.
You have now made a moving carriage.
Yes.
With resistance.
Yeah.
Teaching a full room of people this way. I want to say it was like 20 skateboards, 20 chairs, 20 people sweating, and they're doing long stretch. They're doing elephant. They're doing the traditional Pilates work in this very, very contemporary way. And I was like, so you didn't need a reformer and you still did Pilates.
Right.
So the proof is,
it's not the reformer.
It's not the reformer.
I get where you're going.
Right?
I get where you're going. I wasn't following you. I wasn't following you.
Right.
So it's right. But that sort of comes back to some of the intention. It comes back to the why.
Right.
It comes back to right. But I also see where you're going. That if that the Pilates actually is enough.
It is enough. You can add and spice into it, and you can do all this. But at a certain point,
right.
Did you make a whole new dish? Like, did you just make up a whole new something else?
Right.
Which I think is happening and I think was bound to happen.
It was bound to happen.
But when I look at Pilates and I can't see the verb inside of it, I can't see.
So even if you're being creative, the other piece for me that's really important is it needs to be client-centered.
Yes.
It really needs to be around the client experience, and it's about awareness and experience and.
Yes, versus how much can I pack into this class and get your calorie count, burn. I'm like, whoa, calm down. Sometimes I really do just want to stretch.
Yeah.
Like
sometimes.
I know it's so annoying when our clients say that, but truth. Sometimes you just want to stretch. Like
sometimes you just want to stretch.
Right?
All right. So here, rapid fire questions. Ready?
Oh, rapid fire.
Don't think too much. Don't think too much. Favorite Pilates exercise and why?
Oh, it's short spine massage.
Oh, you already said that.
Because it is a massage and it is amazing. And I don't care what brand or style of equipment you do it on, it never feels good.
It's yummy. All right, your least favorite Pilates exercise and why?
Crab, because why?
Well, it's crabby.
And my knees every time are like, you're going to twist and pull and yank. And why? Why? It's like the one exercise also I don't have a functional movement equivalent for. I can figure out seal. Like you're going to maybe need to.
Yeah.
Right? Like get in this position where you got gum on the bottom of your shoe and you got to look at your shoe. Like, okay, seal. Great.
Fantastic.
Crab, I got nothing. I got nothing on crab. Like it's just awkward and annoying.
All right. We talked about definition of Pilates, but now you're at the cocktail party and you're a Pilates instructor. What is your what's your little?
I can't just say I'm a dentist. Just lie. I just say I'm a movement educator and I primarily use Pilates to teach you.
As your tool.
As my tool. But I mean, I am not above pulling out what I have also learned in terms of Feldenkrais and everything else I know in somatics. And I can put that into Pilates. But when people ask me, what is Pilates? I'm going to say I'm a movement educator. And Pilates, he was a person who had, I believe it was Jay Grimes who said he was a man who had a really good idea.
Mm.
And that idea is how we should move and exist in space. And that's usually where I'll leave it at a cocktail party, like the end. Because either you're going to keep asking me questions or you're going to be like, There's that crazy lady in the corner talking about Pilates.
It's funny. It's a big cocktail conversation now. Yeah. All right. Where do you see Pilates going in the future?
Ooh, where do I see Pilates going in the future? You told me not to think too hard.
Don't think too hard. Just say it, whatever comes to mind.
I think that we're going to see a increase of more of the Pilates equipment in group class settings. I think we're going to see more tower classes, more Cadillac classes, more chair
You're
classes.
Going to see,
because the reformer, I just think, is the flashiest, most seen, visible piece of equipment right now. But I'm already seeing it a little bit that people are like, oh, but have you tried the Cadillac?
Right. What's next?
And they're like,
What's
yeah.
next?
And so I think we're going to see more and more group centered and group classes on more of the equipment.
I totally welcome that. The whole Pilates system, engaging, being available to people. I think that's fantastic.
And one thing I'm personally doing in my studio is trying to push it back to the original way that Joe ran his studio, in that it was client-centered to the point where a good teacher teaches themselves out of a job. Terrible marketing advice. Terrible marketing advice.
You want your client to be independent, right? You want your client to be autonomous.
Right. But the original studios, it was more of an open, independent
gym situation.
Gym. Yeah, like a boxing gym.
Yeah.
And there was your main boxing coach on the floor who ran around and helped people.
Yep.
But you went in and you steered your workout. So I'm bringing that back into my studio in the fall, where we're allowing people to come in and kind of just do a benchmark evaluation so that we know they know how to use the equipment safely and unsupervised. Like, they understand how to set it up, how to put it back together, the do's and the don'ts, because there are do's and don'ts, right? Like, don't step on a moving carriage. Bad idea, right? And we want to know that they know that safety, but a client should be able to come in and give themselves a 20, 30, 45-minute workout.
Right.
I'm
100%.
like, that should be the real point of Pilates. Like, you independently then can take care of yourself, right? You can go to your group classes, you can go to your private, but then if you're traveling, you can lay down in your hotel room, put something on the floor. Hotel room floors are gross. Put something on the floor.
Always put something on the floor.
Right? Like,
never sit on the comforter or the
when I
duvet.
see y'all in airports doing Pilates on that airport floor, I just want to snatch some of y'all up because it's gross. Like, ew, the floor is gross. But I want to see a return to clients taking ownership and being independent in their workouts and in their bodies. And I hope studios go back to that, and the kind of open studio, open gym idea. I really hope that's where I hope
that's
it
what
goes.
You hope it goes in the future. So it's like Back to the Future.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
It really is, because classic never dies. You know, like
classic never dies.
The good stuff is always there.
It's your scales.
Yeah.
All right. Very last question. As far as Pilates community of instructors, what's your hope for the community?
The hope for the community of Pilates instructors and teachers. I hope that we all keep making space for each other and keep losing the judgment, keep losing this is how it is, this is how it has to be, this is the way you do it, which was very much my introduction into the world of Pilates, coming from the dance arena. It's changed so much, but as I see more and more variety of teachers and instructors, I want us to keep tearing down these limiting, definitive walls that have been in place for so very long, and that we keep, as a healthy community that's supportive of each other, moving forward to whatever Pilates keeps evolving, because it's going to keep evolving. And you can stay true to classical roots, and you can stay true to what the technique of Pilates is, because it is a movement technique, right? It is something different than Legree. It is something different than HIIT workouts. And as I was saying, when we layer all that in is when I start seeing Pilates kind of, where did it go? Where did it go? But I want teachers to be supportive of each other. And I want everyone to be able to come in a room and laugh together, which is my favorite thing about Pilates on tour. Again, is like all of these teachers coming in, and we laugh a lot, and we have fun, and nobody's judging anybody for anything.
Right.
And That's what I hope, that we keep making it a warm, inviting community, because as big as the Pilates world feels as you're just getting into this, we're a small community.
We're a small community.
We really, really are.
And that transition to warm and inviting has been really the last 20 years, and it's been a lovely transition over time. And I agree with you. I hope we just keep moving in that direction. Yeah. Danica, thank you so much for this. This was really just a fantastic conversation. I always enjoy being in the same space that you're in. You truly do just lift up every space you're in. So, and every room.
Thank you, and thank you for having me. I love some joy. I love some balanced body. Yes, I do.
All right. Well, I'm looking forward to the next cocktail party.
Right? Yeah. Let's do it. And hopefully we have some actual good cocktails. We don't just talk.
This is true. Well, all right. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you.